car industry doing, Marcus?
Well, it's doing better, slightly better at least, if you look here in Europe. Of course, globally, we've seen sales racing ahead during 2013, but Europe, it saw a little bit of a lackluster year. There are signs of real improvement, though, when it comes to car sales in Europe. Sales, they surged, as you can see here, in December by more than 13% in comparison to December 2012. That's the highest growth figure that we've seen in 4 years for December. It's also a sign that the market is turning up again after an otherwise bad year, as you can see right there. If you take all of 2013 into account, sales there were down 1.7%. That's the sixth straight year of contraction. In Europe, the mid-segment of the market suffered the most in 2013. Brands like Peugeot, Fiat and Opel were all struggling. At the same time, luxury car makers, they were celebrating a record year, and their confidence is showing at this year's Detroit Auto Show. But even as the luxury segment powers ahead, it's not without its challenges. Let's take a look.
Kicking off the Detroit Auto Show in style, Mercedes enlisted former Destiny's Child star Kelly Rowland to help give the launch of their new C-Class a bit of sparkle. The German car maker could be excused a bit of exuberance. It claimed top spot in the US luxury market in 2013. However, that wasn't enough to get it to number one worldwide. That honour went to BMW.
It was our most successful year ever in sales, with over 1.96 million vehicles sold worldwide.
But nothing stays the same for long in the car industry, and while luxury marques trade on heritage, that doesn't mean they're immune to change. Jaguar Land Rover have just announced record sales, up nearly a fifth on the previous year.
50% of our sales now are in emerging markets. And we're making sure that that continues in the future, because we've got a new joint venture with Chery in China.
European marques are seeing their dominance challenged. In the US, Cadillac has recently gained more of a spring in its step.
But I think in terms of the top of the segment, it's still dominated by the European manufacturers. Cadillac is trying to price itself up into that territory.
Luxury vehicles still only account for around 10% of the US market. But when it comes to profit, they take a much larger slice of the action, meaning it's likely that competition will only increase in the years to come.
Okay, some shiny things on display there over in Detroit. Earnings season is underway if we stick to the United States, and after strong stock market gains there last year, investors, they're looking for signs where the company results support further upticks. Citigroup's quarterly profit fell short of expectations, coming in at $2.7 billion. This as the US-based bank saw its bond and mortgage business weaken between October and December. Citigroup CEO still says the bank made some progress, with quarterly costs coming in lower than last year. Another American bank, Goldman Sachs, reported a fall in quarterly earnings between October and December. Goldman made $2.25 billion. That's more than 20% lower than for the same period last year. The chief executive of the bank says that the environment is somewhat challenging. On the back of those earnings, we're seeing stocks in the United States trading lower this session. Let's take a look at the Dow this hour. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down around about 0.5%, whereas the Nasdaq is flirting with a flat line there, only marginally lower. Shares in the world's biggest electronics retailer, Best Buy, they're falling following some pretty gloomy sales figures out there from Best Buy. In Europe earlier, we saw stock markets close below the flat line. The FTSE 100 in London, not by much though, just marginally lower. The retail sector was under pressure after some weaker than expected earnings. And taking a look at some other news, and one of those retail reports in Europe, French retailer Carrefour says its outlook in beleaguered European markets is improving. Its sales in Spain grew in the fourth quarter for the first time since 2008. The key market, France, was also rebounding during the fourth quarter. It still wasn't enough, though, to satisfy investors, and shares in Carrefour, they dropped by 3.7% during the session. Shares of Canadian company Bombardier have been trading down. It follows the news that it's delaying the commercial launch of its new aircraft type, the C-Series. The plane made its maiden flight in 2013 and was supposed to enter commercial traffic this year. Now, the company says it's unlikely to happen before the second half of 2015. C-Series sales, they seem to have been slow to take off, and there are fears that the delay will do nothing to inspire airlines to buy some of those aircraft. And London calling. The British capital has been crowned the most popular tourist destination worldwide. Figures for the summer of 2013 suggest that the city attracted more than 16 million visitors. That means London most likely passed Paris, which used to be at the top. Poor old Paris. We only have indications that that city attracted some 15.9 million visitors during 2013. As I say, poor old Paris. Back over to you, Francois.
We'll always have Paris. Marcus Carlson.
Yes,
Many
indeed.
thanks. More business news later. Let's say hello to Daniel Levy. Time for sports.